All right, welcome back. I'm going to read what you guys have written here. First message from Tony. He's in the UK. I trade a 9-pair portfolio plus the FTSE, Euro dollar, Euro yen, pound dollar, pound yen, Aussie dollar, Aussie yen, Aussie CAD, dollar yen, USD CAD. Okay, so those are all the majors. Okay, that's cool. So, and I know, Tony, you're having some success. Carlos says you used to have better taste in music. Okay, well, I try to play a little bit of everything. So Tony's trading pretty much all the majors there. That's a good one, plus the FTSE. Mark says, what I do now because of all the uncertainty is I just reduce my trade size. Okay, so you're just mitigating risk based on your lot size, and that's a good strategy. He's using 1% instead of 2.5%. Very cool. And he only trades the London session. 20 pip targets from a 1-hour chart. Okay, and he trades Euro yen and pound yen. That's awesome. So, yeah, okay. Guys, all that makes sense. So you're either limiting your pairs. Tony's sticking with the same portfolio of all the majors. So this is what I'm talking about. There's all kinds of ways to skin this cat, as we say. Tony says, I counter trend trade on the 1-hour based on the crossbow, but I also scalp on the 15 minutes based on the time band. Oh, interesting. Tony trades full time now. Mario says, I've dropped down to a 5-minute chart, scalping using the crossbow system with a few of my rules of engagement. Okay, he's back tested and now forward testing Euro USD at the moment. Yeah, this is all great. All techniques that I also use, but my problem is simply this, and I've gotten this comment from a couple of you, and that is like, Rick, surely over these weeks you've gotten some signals. Well, not based on the times that I'm looking at the market. Right at the beginning of the Asian session, my issue is that, I've only got a couple of hours to sit down at the Asian session and an hour and a half during the London session to scalp. And most of the activity is taking place outside that window. And in a scalping mindset, I am not, even if I'm looking at my higher time frames, I'm not really seeing any decent setups. Now, the other option for me is, which I'm comfortable with, is to put a 200 pip stop in and a 200 pip take profit and just walk away for a week. I could do that too. That's not something a lot of people are used to doing. So I don't want to get into the trade copier thing in this particular live session. But that's another thing that I don't want to get involved in when it comes to that, because I'll get emails every day about that. Holy crap, we're drawn down 100 pips, that kind of thing. So and that's not an excuse. That's not an excuse. I'm just saying I'm perfectly comfortable with that, but a lot of people aren't. So anyway, good strategies, guys. Carlos he's very well diverse. He trades gold, the CAC exchange, the FTSE. He uses the crossbow, no counter trend trades. Okay, and he added a support and resistance indicator. Right, don't sell into support, don't buy into resistance. He's not having any problems, all running his plan. Okay, you trade no Germany or London Open. You just trade the US New York overlap on a 1-hour chart. Very good. Yeah, see, my problem is that I'm technically at work during New York. It's hard for me to multitask with confidence when I'm trading. I don't know about you guys, but when I'm trading, I'm 100%. Tony trades London 8 to 11, then break till 12. Yeah, you're watching that 4-hour candle. I get it. Don't you guys find that lately, though, you get maybe get a little impulse at the beginning of London, and then it takes till 2.5 hours for the market to settle? Kind of like New York, because at the New York Open, the New York Currency Open, there's sometimes again, there's nothing really that we can bank on in terms of total consistency, but the tendency is simply that the market opens, may continue a little bit in the direction of London, may not, but it really takes the open of the U.S. exchanges and news, of course, to continue or to create the impulses during the New York session. That's not unlike all the other sessions, but if you're look at these charts I have right here, this is typically when I'm trading, right in here, to scalp. And the ATRs are decent on the 1 hour chart, but I'm going down to the 5-minute chart and they just look really ugly. So now I'm going to have to just change. I may just start trading late in the London session. And I used to never trade the Asian session, but I do see there's some volatility here. But you've got just this. And then some days you'll get a decent move, but it's usually later in the session. I have spent more time in front of my charts lately than I have in years. And there are days when I just don't want to look at the currency markets anymore. I just need a break. So I think that's important too. You have to get away so that you can come back and look at this stuff and see where it makes sense. Now you can see here, as far as next week goes, we're setting up on some nice divergence trades right here. We've got, and this whole idea with the yen. If you listen to all the talking heads, they're saying the yen's going to go down to 105. I don't even have the USD on this chart, but look at this. And they say we're going to go down here to 105. And there's just, I'm just looking at all these time frames. Could go to 105. Major resistance here from 2013. So we shall see. Yeah. The dollar against the euro. Kind of crazy the way this is playing out. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. Our technical analysis still has validity. And I would speculate as to, clearly this is a downtrend. But when you're looking at the intraday market, this stuff, you've got to be, laser focused and decide 20, 30 pips. My target is between 30 and 50 pips. So that's what I'm looking at. And look at this late in the day Friday. Well, this is a 15-minute. Let's go back to a 1 hour. Oh, yeah. Tony says, yeah, he left yesterday, went to the museum instead. It was funny, I picked up a math book on the first page, and he opened the first page, and it was Fibonacci. I was watching a show the other night. It was called Math Mysteries or something like that. It was on PBS, and it was just all about Fibonacci. It was really kind of cool. How Fibonacci, how the Fibonacci sequence applies to the growth of like the shell of a chambered nautilus, and they use all this stuff to apply it to things that we see all around us. It was actually very, very interesting. This idea, the question posed was math created by humans? Does it mean anything? But once they found out that they could apply math to the what we observe in the universe, it's kind of interesting the way that has all come together. I found it very, very fascinating. If you get a chance to see it, it's a Nova production on public TV here in the United States. Kind of like something you might want to see on BBC. Yeah, science museums are awesome. I like them. Gadget nerd, Tony, that's me too. Very cool. So that's the dollar yen, and again, they're speculating down to 105. So back to 2013 levels. And this all looks great looking back. But the key is I'm ratcheting back the pairs as well. I just use this, guys. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trading 16 pair here. But I do know that there's a negative correlation between the Aussie yen and the Euro Aussie. Typically. So another thing that's been challenging is a lot of these correlations don't have as much strength, the negative and positive correlations. So you've got situations where usually the Euro Aussie and Pound Aussie are highly correlated, but there are days when the Pound is selling off and the Euro is rallying. So, and again, don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining. I'm just regrouping. So Friday, late on a Friday, I don't trade the NZD CAD, but I have it here to show strength against the Euro Kiwi and the Pound Kiwi. A lot of these are just observational crosses and pairs that I use. Is there anything that you guys see setting up that you're looking at right now? In the currency markets. Oh, and we talked earlier about a broker. So this is Talonex, guys. And so you can see here, I'm on 1 hour charts. I can go to any one of these, and that's what I really like is on the weekend, is I can get data, change time frames. I found, and you may not have this issue, but I had this issue with FXCM. My charts were off. Yeah, my data is locked. Exactly. So I really find this helpful, and it's one of the things I used to like about IBFX too, is that, and you can see here on the lower right, as a matter of fact, let me do this. Oh, I was going to show you something. I could log off of this chart and log back on, and it would still work fine. And the other thing is, during the time of day here, I'm busy, so I don't catch a lot of this New York-London overlap. So let's do this. This is 4 hour regular candles, crossbow. I look at this too, along with the TDI. You can see here the crossbow signals, you can't see them that well here, but the sell is black and the buy is blue. I have a bunch of profiles set up here. Here's my blog. Here's 4 hour. I like to look at the Heikinashi candles as well, especially for trending. But I do, when I scalp, I use regular candles. Actually, let's talk about that. Let's go here. Oops, let's go here. Okay, so here are some 15-minute charts. And let's talk about candle patterns. Very powerful. One of the things I'm consistently looking for is a retest of the high. So here we have, let me find something that's a pair that you guys trade. Okay. These are patterns that we see all the time during the day. Yeah, Heikinashi for 1 hour and regular candles for 15-minute, right? Normal live session. No, it's not a problem. Don't worry about it, Dean. It's all good, man. Okay, so here we have an evening star. This is what I'm looking for, guys. See this? You guys call this a pin bar. I call this a hammer. Okay? But we want the body of this pin bar to close within the body of this bullish candle. And then we have this solid bearish candle. In this particular case, this created a new structure high, but I'm also looking for this little retest here. And then I have another pin bar, and this is my signal. That's what I'm looking for to get short, assuming that I'm awake, alert, and trading during this session. So, new structure high. I'd like to see this retest in this zone, but if I get a setup like this, I'm looking to get short, and my stops would be above here. So in this particular case, 22 pips, and I'd be looking for 30 to 50 pips here. Okay? So that's what I'm looking at. Another thing is this guy right here. You're going to see, now again, you're going to get frustrated at times because a lot of times I don't take the first bounce. So we have this first bounce here. What I like to see here, let me move over to here and I'll tell you. What I'm looking at here when I scalp is what I like to see a break above and close above this resistance, but this just kept going. What I like to see is a break above, close above, a little pullback, and then an aggressive C buy is what I would be looking for here. And that didn't happen here on this chart. I like to do pending orders, but I find on a 5-minute chart that depending on how clean the setup is, like in this particular case, pending order would be right here. Oops, sorry guys. My pending order would be 10 pips from the top. So let me measure 10. So my pending order, my pending short order in this particular setup would be right here. And then my stop would be here. And then I would try to take this for a profit of, in this particular case, this is a bad example because this wouldn't have been filled. But this is what I'm looking for. So it's almost like a double top, if you will. And this would be a pending order. However, in this particular case, what I'm also looking for is these longer engulfing bars. So remember, I used to say to you guys all the time, you want to trade in the burger. Well, this one you're going to have to hang on to because this would be the signal here, this engulfing bar. Okay, now we've got our arrow signals. You can see here, see where this crossbow signal occurred? You'd be entering in here. Yeah. Okay, Carlos says double top, breakdown, 50 to 618 retrace, and you enter short. You mean retrace in what direction? So I've got it. This would tell me to go long, but I'm looking to go short here on this double top. You mean like this? Oh, I see what you mean. Hang on. Oh, I don't see what you mean, Carlos, because if I do that, this price action hasn't happened yet, so I don't know. Oh, I see what you mean. You mean here? Ah, okay. So here's what Carlos is saying. This is my A to B, and here's my B to C. So I'm at the 618 here, and I'm going short. My problem is that I could do that, but I'm more comfortable with a double top with bearish divergence on a 5-minute chart. Because This trade, these particular trades, guys, when I do this on a 5-minute chart, I have to be like totally laser focused and undisturbed. And I know that sounds weird because I told you earlier that patterns and all that stuff are the same no matter what size the chart. But I find that these 5-minute trades, I can get distracted very easily. And I do like to have my profit target set up. And one of the things that I really like to use, I like to use pending orders, as I mentioned before. But if, let's say I get this signal here, right here, I love to use that shotgun because it immediately pulls in a stop and a target. And I just have it set to 50 pips. And then I can just drag and drop that based on the scenario. But it immediately puts a stop and a target in there for me. So I find that that helps me a lot because I don't have to worry about fat fingering or the typing issue. So when I am scalping, I really like to use that shotgun. And Dean, in that example, you were talking earlier about that example I sent to you guys. This won't apply to a lot of you guys, but a few weeks ago, I sent some results out to the trade copier people. And that's exactly what I was doing. I was just shotgunning. And in this particular case, I wasn't even using stops and targets. And I said I was gunslinging, and that's not the way to trade. But in this particular case, in most particular cases, I would use the shotgun with stops and targets. And I really find that to be a fantastic tool. What trouble did you have with the Money Manager EA? You've got to deactivate. There's a setting in there, Tony, that says, here, let me see if I have it on here. Hang on, guys. Money Manager. When you do this Money Manager EA, you put allow drag price lines, make that false. And then you can use the shotgun. If you leave that allow drag price lines true, you're going to have conflicts with the programming in MT4 to drag and drop lines. So if you leave that false, it will continue to manage the trade, but you can use this interface, the MT4 interface, to drag and drop lines. And if you use the shotgun script, if you use the shotgun script and you fire that off, it'll put that stop and target, and you can still add the Money Manager EA on there. If not, you can just simply drag and drop the shotgun lines on your chart. So I can't fire this off because there's no trading data, but the shotgun, guys, and I'll be happy if you guys want this. I'll post it. I'll post this on the website when I post this video. But you go in here and you modify this, and it looks like this in your MQL4 editor. And what you'll do is you can have, this is a demo account, I haven't set this up, but order one, you can put your lot size here, your take profit and your stop loss, and you can put, here's order one, order two, and order three, and this will fire off 3 trades. So I'll give this to you, and you should practice with this on a demo and set it up. But I absolutely love this tool, and I usually just put one order on. But for some of you guys that like to stack your orders, you can put order one could be 1 ATR, order two could be 2 ATR, and order three could be 4 ATR. So anyway, you fire it off 3 separate times. Okay, cool. So this is 3 orders, or you can put 1 order and use it again. So what you do is you put this in here. Let's say we use, and let's say our take profit is 50 pips, and our stop loss is 50 pips. Oops. And let's just put one order in there, and then we're going to hit compile. And you can see here it says no errors, no warnings, and then we can just save that. Now, once we're in this MQL4 editor, we can double click here on the sell shotgun. You can only double click on these when you're in editor mode, because if you double click on these on your chart, they're going to fire off a trade. So make sure that you're in editing mode, and make sure you try this first on a demo account. And then we want the same parameters on our sell trade. Yeah, I agree with you, Tony. I do that too. Tony says I fire off this script, and then he uses the Money Manager EA to manage the trade. So you can put this in at 50 pips and then use the parameters of the Money Market EA to actually manage the trade, and that will override, those commands will override this. So let's set 50, and we'll go 50, and then we'll compile here. Okay, and then we're going to get out of this editor. And so what will happen is, if I'm looking at a scalp trade and I see a setup and it doesn't require a pending order, and I'm looking here, let's say at this inside bar, and I get this signal and I want to fire off a trade, I will hit the sell shotgun, and it'll instantly throw my trade in here with a 50 pip stop, and I'm just guessing here, guys, and a 50 pip target. And of course these will be green and red like they are, and then you can just simply move those to your profit targets and your stop losses. I think it's an awesome tool. I'll provide this for you guys on the website. Okay, right next to this live session stuff. Now, what else was I going to tell you about this? Oh, and you have to have in your auto trading, this has to be on. So your tools, options, you're going to go in here to expert advisors, allow automated trading. So, and then this has to be active. But this thing will fire off a trade in milliseconds. Oh, really? Ninja Trader has a great trade manager that lets you fire off 3 trades and then move stops automatically, set and forget. Yeah. It's about time they came out with something like that. So here's a 5-minute chart, 15-minute, but I'm virtually looking for the same setups on every chart. Now in this particular case, here's a harmonic completion. And again, guys, I'm not going to lie to you, this is really easy to do after the fact. So we have a harmonic completion. GBP CAD, which is a pair I don't trade that often, but let's just look at the price action. And here we have these pin bars, not true pin bars because they haven't closed within the body of this candle, but this one has. And then we've got this engulfing bar here that closes below these 3 bars. So this is the kind of thing I'm looking for. And what I would do again is I would look for a pending order 10 pips below here, so right in here, with a, so that would be my entry. This would be my stop, a very short stop. And then I'm just measuring these lines so they look decent, 30 pip stop originally. So the good thing about looking at this stuff and these setups is that you've got a very short risk. It's a 1 to 2 or 1 to 3 or 1 to 2.5, 1 to 1.5 risk profile. So these work out nicely, but I do like to see that double top. Another bad example. One of the reasons that I don't use Heikin-Ashi on the shorter time frames is because, let me show you side by side. Oops. GBP CAD, where was that chart I was just looking at? Okay, I'll show you side by side what these charts look like. GBP. Okay. If I'm looking for this candle pattern on a Heikin-Ashi chart, all of these candles are going to be gray. Notice I get my signal here, but this doesn't follow my rules because it's a bullish candle. I'm looking for this type of a setup, and in this particular case, I'm just looking for a bullish it's called a bearish shadow. It's engulfing the entire body and closing below this bearish candle. So if I look here, shoot, this is a bad example again, B. I'm sorry. So here's that. Here's the candle I'm looking at. Let's see what, I could be proven wrong here. No, here's that. I get the signal on the Heikin-Ashi here. Interesting. So these are all bearish candles, or excuse me, bullish candles. Actually, yeah, here it is. Here's the price action right here. See, these are all bullish candles. And this doesn't show me the same, it's a break below and close below, but it doesn't show me the same engulfing because Heikin-Ashi's print the average price. What I'm looking for is the body of this bearish candle. And the Heikin-Ashi doesn't show me that. It shows me almost a doji looking candle. So I'm looking for morning stars, engulfing candles, shadow candles, typical traditional Japanese candle reversal patterns. So, excuse me a minute. That's what I'm looking at, not... This tells me that there's a bearish reversal, but it's not a candle pattern that I can recognize to confirm. However, that being said, after seeing this rotation, well, let's not call that a rotation because it hasn't crossed our trend line. That's the wrong terminology. Because I can see this bearish candle break below and close below, technically I could still use the same strategy and put it pending order, 10 pips with a 30 pip. This order in this particular case, again, would not be filled, but I could use the same strategy using Heikin-Ashi, using structure highs and lows. In this particular case, though, I'm trying to get the best entry possible, and I'm looking at these candle patterns that are more indicative of the reversal. So that's the kind of stuff I'm looking at. Stuff like this. Big engulfer. Pin bar. Big engulfer. We come off the bottom. And then at the same time, I like to look at where's the TDI? Coming off the bottom, oversold, confirmation. When you see these types of candles, guys, with these long bodies, especially these short wicks, we're going in the same direction. We're going to keep going down. See this no wick here, huge body, small wick here, huge body. You want to get into this trade though as soon as possible. Here we actually have a buy signal. For those of you guys trading the crossbow per the exact rules, we're not talking about that now. We're talking about scalping using reversal candle patterns. We're not talking about the crossbow per se, because this is not a bullish rotation, nor is this a first strike. So this would not, using the strict rules of the crossbow system in the Excel course, this would not be a valid signal. Okay, I just want to make that clear. We're scalping using TDI and candle patterns here. We're kind of calling it the crossbow because we're using the crossbow template. Okay, so this is the strategy that I've adopted for scalping. And you can see here, this is the kind of stuff that I've been sitting through during these sessions. This kind of stuff, this kind of stuff. So we're ranging, and yeah, there are 5-minute trades, but, and you know, 10 pips is 10 pips, guys, but I don't want to take 100 trades. I could, but I don't want to. I don't want to take a trade, give up the spread for 10 pips, then take another trade, give up the spread for 10 pips. It's just not something I'm interested in doing. I keep telling you patience pays, and it does pay, but it can also be really frustrating. Back to my early comment is, you know, I sent some stuff out. I showed these guys where I was scalping on a Friday. I scalped 200 pips in like 2 hours. Yeah, you can do that. I'd rather not, but it's almost to the point now in this particular market, you don't have a choice. And that particular day, price action was actually pretty good. So it was a function of my laser focus, as well as kind of the market. I said earlier, the market doing what it was supposed to do. I'm not saying I got lucky because I was focused and paying attention, but at the same time, the market was cooperating as well. But we look here at this kind of stuff. Man, this is ugly. When you've got this going on, you know, this is not a candle pattern. This is indecision. Yeah, the market's lower highs, lower lows. Clearly, this is an uptrend. Let's look at this. I mean, even Heikinashi's pretty ugly there. So when I see this, when I'm sitting down in the trading session and I see this for, you know, an hour and a half, 2 hours, I walk away. This is a tornado that I don't want to get in the middle of. So that's the Heikinashi version. And I also have a template here where I have crossbow with the regular candles with no alert, because if you've got these charts up, this thing will just be going off every hour. It'll make you crazy. You can't possibly keep track of all those alerts. So what I try to do is identify potential setups on a couple of pairs and then just stick with those. Like most of you and like most retail traders, the question is Rick, where do you get your news data? Well, I don't subscribe to the Bloomberg news feed, because last time I checked, I think it was a couple grand a month. But I am fortunate that I have Bloomberg Television. They are really, really great at broadcasting what's happening in the market news-wise and anything that tends to be newsworthy. And what I like about the TV broadcast, and I usually have it on in the background, is that they provide information on all the exchanges and all the global markets. And then, of course, they do their own analysis. I try not to listen too much to what these guys are saying, because, of course, their whole show is based around speculation and talking heads, like any financial news channel. but just the data they provide is really great. And then they'll, for their subscribers, they put up these breaking news announcements. And I mentioned to you earlier, a lot of this stuff happens if you go to Forex Factory. It's not scheduled. It's not on the calendar. It's unannounced. And these guys have it. So it's really handy to have that on and get that information so that if there's a move in the market that doesn't appear on Forex Factory and all of a sudden the market jumps, you go on Forex Factory and you see everybody go, what just happened? Whatever that news announcement was is typically on Bloomberg. So it's just basically a cable TV channel that I happen to get that I have on all the time. So it's between those two, I get all the trading news that basically is more than enough to know what's going on every day. I do know some, of course, institutional traders and everybody, especially the high frequency guys, they have this stuff. They have direct feeds to this stuff, so they get the news seconds, milliseconds before we do. But it's not going to make that much difference to us. We don't trade as much, but it is kind of nice to know. And with that insight, typically there's an immediate reaction, and then in a 24-hour cycle, there's a reaction to that kind of news. So what you'll see is these impulses and then some follow-up news and all that stuff. You just don't get a lot of that on Forex Factory, and Bloomberg has it all, so it's actually pretty nice. Anything else you guys want to talk about today? Any questions? I'm going to make a note to put that script on the website. Tony says, I get Bloomberg, CNN, CNBC, all part of my TV package, but I prefer to watch The Walking Dead. That's awesome. I guess what I should say, Tony, is I have it on all the time when I'm trading. I don't have it on, the rest of the day. There's way too much going on in the world for me to be that focused on the markets. But I want this to be a place where you guys can provide information as well, not just me, because you're there. I mean, you guys are all trading. Some of you trading for full time now, and I mean, if you got some insight you can share with us, we can use this forum for that as well. So that would be great. I would appreciate that too. So getting back on track. Good to touch base with you guys. Good to kind of get past a lot of these challenges we've been going through, and looking forward to the upcoming weeks. And we have cycles, things go in and out, and the key is this too shall pass, and we will move forward. Okay? Yeah, Tony says a live session every month or so. Okay, that'll be cool. We'll do that. I'll see you soon. If you need anything from me, just shoot me an email, okay? See you soon. Take care. Be good. Have fun. Talk to you later.